Ladies and gentlemen, namaskar and welcome. It's me, Mahalaxmi. You are watching the Mahalaxmi Show. Without wasting our time, I just want to welcome to our guest, health worker and politician, Guerdy Remy. Guerdy, welcome to the Mahalaxmi Show.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for being. This is the second time on on your show, so it's an honor, and you're doing wonderful work. I hear what you write about, what you video about, and it's about the community. So thank you for that. Thank you.
So, Guerdy, how you are doing during this COVID-19?
Oh, this was like I'm running for Florida State Senate. And I had my plans, our campaign, it was supposed to run smoothly. And then this happens, and the world changed in March, right? Of course, way before March, but in March, we realized that the coronavirus was going to be a big deal. And so we had to switch how we approach people. We had to switch with how we care for people. So my whole campaign had to do a whole new turnaround. But then I decided to go back and do clinical nursing. I went back to bedside nursing, to the hospitals. I took a travel assignment. I was in Kentucky and then to West Virginia because they had a big need. There was like a lot of people were starting to have the coronavirus. There was a shortage in nursing, and I decided that I would try to help them out. So I actually was right in the middle of all of that and had to wear our protective gear. And I learned a lot those last 8 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah. So with
But
the coronavirus, we know that we had CDC guidelines, we had the World Health Organization guidelines, but we had a lot of people that still did not understand because it was not the regular flu. It was something so much more different, so much more contagious. And a lot of people got exposed very quickly. And we talked about hand washing at first and social distancing, but then we realized it was airborne and people had to use like masks, like face masks. They had to use face masks and preferably goggles. So in the health field, they've learned to try to supply that to us because nurses and doctors and co-workers were getting infected. But even if you stay 6 feet, somebody else can be in that room, touch the surface, and they can be infected. So it was very difficult to see our patients get sick, and they got sick really fast. And that's the difference. Like once they start having respiratory issues and the oxygen level starts going down, like you're supposed to have a pulse ox of 92 to 100%. That's the regular oxygen level of people. With the coronavirus, they were going under 92, little short of breath with everything else. But by the time they went under 92%, they hit 70%. And even then, if you give them 5 liters or you give them a rebreather, they still kept going down. I've had patients that had 50%, and that's when we intubate. That's when they were on the ventilator, and to give the lungs a rest. But then usually those are the people that do recover, but a lot of them passed on and died. So it's very serious. It happened very quickly. Yeah, and we were not prepared.
more than 100,000 people already die. Still so many people they don't wear masks. So what do you want to tell for those people?
So this is actually really important. I flew in from West Virginia yesterday. This is my first time flying since the coronavirus because I'm here for about a week. And I was shocked. I was prepared. I had my N95 mask on and I had my goggles on, checked in, and there were people all up and down the airport without a mask, without protective gear. They got on the plane. As we got on the plane, the airlines were issuing little packets of masks. People in the front were saying no, like as they were boarding, they said no. I didn't see too many people take the disposable masks that they gave them. I got in on a plane where at least 30% of the people, and it was a full flight, did not have any mask. I was on the aisle seat and had 2 other people, so there was no social distancing on the plane. It was a full plane with all 3 seats, all up and down were full. People did not have on a mask. And I cannot understand, I still can't understand that. The messages, I know that there's a lot of confusion. There's still a lot of confusion. Some states have high numbers, some states have low numbers. The coronavirus is very real. And wearing a mask is not even, it shouldn't even be a thing you think about. It should be a must. I know they have homemade masks. These, I'm not advertising for Amazon, but I bought a pack of 50 and 100 for my family in New York, for my family in South Florida for $30. The goggles cost $6. It's very important to cover your eyes and cover your mouth because it's not going away. So this is where I'm going to scare people right now. If we don't handle the coronavirus before September, and it goes into the flu season, which automatically already kills the most vulnerable people in the population, the elder, the sick, people with primary, secondary diagnosis. If the coronavirus mixes with the flu, it's going to be a deadly combination and more people are going to die. And the second round of it will be very much deadlier. It will be very bad. Exactly. But people are safe. They go to the beach and think it's okay. The coronavirus cannot meet with the flu. When I work, every year people die with the flu. And that's still a lot. Put the coronavirus with the flu, it's going to be a big pandemic. It's going to be much, much worse. And it's not just fear, it's science. It's the truth.
But people did protest against the lockdown.
Here's what I learned, because they protest the lockdown because the information is not out there. We have somebody in Washington telling them to go with their daily life. Businesses are failing. People are in poverty, a high rate of unemployment. So it is to the benefit of these big corporations to give false information. And it's information that is not being given by practitioners. They're not being given by scientists. These information are not being given by the corporations that were meant to assist us. They're being given by big business. And of course, a big business is going to want their people to come back to work. We are not ready. And I would suggest whoever can stay home, please still stay home. If there's any way that you can work part-time from home, do that. The goal is to have people stay home, people stay protected, wear your mask, wash your hands. And we say the goggles because for those who don't wear glasses, if somebody coughs, because people don't cover their nose, right? They only cover their mouth sometimes. If they cough, it goes into your eyes. So at least your eyes will be protected. Any opening, your eyes, your nostrils, your mouth. And please, when you wear a mask, you got to cover your whole mouth. For example, I'll give you the proper wear. They have these little things here. We need to put it, cover our nose, put it around, bring it down, hold it, and put it on the back of your ear, and just make sure that it's there. Your nose needs to be covered. If your nose is not covered, that's even worse, because people, you can close your mouth, but your nose still takes in air and brings out air. Yes, your nose is so important to get covered. And then take it out this way. Don't touch your nose afterwards. Just take it out with the strings. So yes, we still definitely need to wear masks. I wear it all the time. I carry it with me. And if you have these kind of masks, you can wear it one time, maybe air it out. If you air it out under the sun, you can wear it again. If you're wearing a handkerchief, you need to wash it every time because they don't have filter. So anything made out of cloth, a shirt, a handkerchief, you need to only wear it one time because you have secretions in there, and wash it. These have filters that you can dry out and wear it again. If it's a N95, you can dry it out in the sun and wear it again, but not the cloth ones. Yeah.
So, like more than 100,000 people already die, and lockdown is almost all over the street. Mm-hmm. But now people, they are doing party, they are doing pool party, they are doing family party, like gathering. So how do you think about those kind of activities?
So I feel like it's a slap in the face of every healthcare worker and frontline worker. So I work with people who are sick, bedside. I'm going to give you an example. I was gone for 6 weeks. I lost 10 patients due to coronavirus, 10. And they were not all old. So In 6 weeks with 10, that's more than 2 a day that I've lost through death with the coronavirus. It's very real. So when I see people out there in the beach or in a pool, you don't care about us. You don't care about the people who's at Publix or Winn-Dixie shopping for you. You don't care about the essential workers, people who's delivering food to your house, because if they have to be there, I have to work. A doctor has to work. A nursing assistant, we have to work. We don't have a choice. But you don't have to party. You don't have to go to the beach. We live in Florida. The beach is year round. So it is very selfish to want to go to the beach in a crowded situation, to have a pool party, because you're going to end up in our hospitals and give us more exposure. That person's going to go into the street and expose people. The coronavirus is not gone. We're just not talking about it because of the Black Lives Matter movement, but the coronavirus is very real. And my biggest fear, Mahala, my biggest fear in 3 weeks, we're going to see such a surge because of everyone outside unprotected. We're going to see a surge of this virus. And I see people protesting. I understand. Please wear a mask. I am going to go to one, and I'm going to wear my mask and my goggle, and I'm going to have a pocket-sized hand sanitizer with me. We need to be careful because the people that are going to die mostly after this are going to be the poor, the Black and brown community, people with no health insurance. A lot of people are going to still get exposed and possibly die. Always definitely reach out to your local 211. That would give information on getting unemployment, which is a big problem right now, but keep trying, keep applying. It would give information on getting tested. We will need to make sure we have these free tests because people cannot afford to get tested. So there's a lot of people in the community that are reaching out. There's websites. I am trying to put some on my website. You've been posting a lot of things too. So the resources are out there. The main thing is to stay safe, stay home, stay protected. And at the same time, we will try to make sure we keep uploading resources for you. Dial 211 first and go into your city manager's, the county manager's website. Seminole County has one also, okay, Orange County too.
I know you are busy with your political campaign for your election. So how is your political campaign going on?
Well, I've been doing both. I went to nursing, back to nursing for coronavirus, plus also to be able to buy things for my campaign and finance my campaign and also getting donations. Most of my things have been virtual. We have postcards now. We're getting signs so people can put signs on there. My goal is to focus on the things that's important, right? Impacted neighborhoods, impoverished neighborhoods, bad taxes that are not good for our property, education, making sure that our public schools are fully staffed, funded correctly, healthcare. I am very much for a Medicaid expansion and Medicare for all. Although Medicare for all is a federal program, but getting a Medicaid expansion is a state program. So I want that. The environment is very important because now we're using a lot of plastic, right? So we are setting the environment back, but we have to use plastic because as far as plastic bags, but later on, they're gonna end up in our landfill. So we need to make sure to be proactive and help alleviate some of these things, right? Especially with corporations that are doing bad things to our environment. As we can see, there's a direct relation between the coronavirus and our environment because we were not ready, right? Environmentally, we were not ready. The EPA was dismantled by the federal government. And so it's not only about global warming, it's about communities that are poor that are already environmentally poor by not having appropriate nutrition, right? They have food deserts. We go to some of these streets, there's no fruits or vegetables. The stores are only giving canned foods or high carbs food, so that made the person's health already deteriorate with predisposing factors like diabetes and hypertension. So diet, environmental, and it's very closely related with healing in the coronavirus. So my campaign is about putting these issues up front, issues about health, issues about education, our veterans, making sure that they're not homeless in the street, right? And it's also about gun safety. If somebody's going to have a gun, you're going to buy a weapon, buy a gun, that you go through the proper channeling, that you don't just go outside into a store or go into Walmart or go into a gun show and be able to buy an automatic weapon to go and shoot into the public. So common gun safety laws, making sure that we don't have 50 rounds of bullets in a weapon. We don't need 50 rounds. If you're carrying a gun for protection, you don't need an automatic weapon that's an assault weapon with 50 rounds. So I want to make sure that we tackle that. There's a lot of other things, definitely unemployment, making sure that the system that we inherited from Rick Scott, that Ron DeSantis is not fixing, making sure that we are vocal, that they need to fix this. Almost 60% of Floridians still do not have their unemployment. I know people who applied since March and they still did not get their benefits. And these are people who were furloughed. They were furloughed from the city, furloughed from Disney, and they still did not get unemployment. I want to make sure that our children, that when they go back to school, that we have teachers that, that can teach correctly, the curriculum is there, that we fund our public schools and our teachers, making sure the class sizes are smaller, making sure we have appropriate curriculum, not just in English, math, science, and social studies, but we give them the arts program, we give them, healthcare activity programs. I want to add more curriculum into their program, that we don't just teach the test. We need to foster their mind, allow the children to learn, give them music programs. We don't need to cut the budget and use that money for charter. I'm not against charter schools. Charter schools need to find their own funding through private donors. Public school funding, my tax dollars, your tax dollars, need to go to public schools. Also, the union, right? SEIU, 32BJ, those are union for the airport co-workers, the airport workers. I've heard so much about the airport workers and how they're being sent home without pay. There's so many of them that are sick with the coronavirus and they cannot get unemployment because of the system, or they're not able to work. They're being with bad treatment. So the airport workers need to join the union if that's what they want. The airports, Orlando MCO, there's a company that is trying very hard to not let union into it. I spoke with the union the other day, and it's called ULEAN, and they're really trying to make it hard for people to not join the union. I'm a big union person. My grandma was a union employee, and that's all I know. We've all grew up in the union, and we realize just how organized labor, it helps with healthcare, it gives them legal advices, it helps them get their back pay and get raised. So it's very important to support the union. Yes, there's a lot.
How so many people are unemployed, so how you guys are supporting them? So how you guys are supporting for those kind of
So many people are unemployed. We're passing on the information. We are making sure that we write letters and call Tallahassee so they can get that system fixed. The system was not able to take that many applicants and applications, and it crashed, and it keeps crashing. What we're telling people to still keep applying. Get paper applications, which we've been doing. I posted links for paper applications. Linda Stewart and some of the other representatives have paper applications in their office. So you can go to your representative office and your state senate's office, and they have paper applications. We've gotten a phone app, a phone link that they can do it over the phone. We are being very vocal about people getting their unemployment. We are constantly on the phone with the companies, with Tallahassee. So we didn't forget about you. You may not see that we're doing this up front, but we are definitely trying to figure out how they can fix the system. Don't give up. Just keep applying and stay home and still be safe, because people tell me, well, I guess I better go work for Publix because I need to find a job. But then that's going to mess up the right that they had. They were furloughed due to the coronavirus, and it's not fair that they did not get their unemployment. So we are there for you. We're still trying to back you. We're still calling and writing and trying to get this system to work.
right?
Yeah, send it out. Send us to District 9. So what that is?
Why people should vote you?
What makes me different is that I have been able to, okay, I lived in Seminole County since I moved here from New York. And I participated in like, regular stuff at first, the homeless shelters, PTA, schools. I was a dividend. I was a regular volunteer helping out with my family. And aside from that, when everything happened, I became an advocate for our community, an advocate for the LGBTQ community. And I was able to understand the laws that they were making. I was able to be members of different organizations, co-chairs of different organizations. But all that doesn't make a difference. What makes a difference is the fact that I hear what people have to say. I understand what they have to say. I cannot be purchased. We don't take any donations from big corporations. We don't take any donations from people that's going to tell me that I'm in their pockets, because when they want to pass bad bills about the environment or about people or about our communities, I will not be the one to say yes. And I will continuously fight for the community, for Florida, because the state Senate vote on issues for Florida. So I will continue to fight and be an advocate in Tallahassee. I can't be changed. I am who I am. I'm a regular person that worked for people, volunteered for people. I'm a nurse, a case manager. I've worked in the community. I hear you. I see you. And whether a person lives in Tuscaloosa or Heathrow and have $1 million homes, they have issues too. They have dealings with tax, home rule, homestead property. They want their kids to go to like really good schools. People with money want money to stay in their pocket. And you're right. If you work for it, you shouldn't have your taxes coming out for like silly things, right? Like I want my money, my taxes to go for the right things, for our roads, for our children, for our sick, for our people. So whether you live there or you live in the back streets where we live in homes with $300 a month, I'm for those people too, because I understand you. You want medical insurance. You want to be able to feed your family. You want to be able to have stability, a job, or if you're retired, that your money is going for your family, your money is going for you. You want to be able to enjoy a weekend with your family. People want to stop struggling. They want to stop having racist things going on or LGBTQ issues. They want to have health care. They want to have good education. People want to be able to live their life, work, retire, or if they're on disability, they want a chance. They want a chance to live and be happy and not have government interfere in their lives to tell them what to do with their body, to tell them that these laws, like immigration laws, are going against them. People want they want politicians who listen. And I am that, because I was not a politician at first. I'm an advocate that became a politician. And that's it. I'm going to take that to Tallahassee with me.
So during this COVID-19, homeless people condition is very, very horrible. So do you guys doing anything, or do you guys have any special package for homeless people?
I've seen Seminole County. I can't say much for. I know I've seen different people get hand sanitizers and speak with them. I know that there's shelters that they're able to go to, but I've seen in Orange County where there's a bigger effort into getting homeless people off the street. Personally, myself, when we used to have a lot of hand sanitizers, I used to buy the dollar ones from Walmart and hand it out. But that is a place that I see we're not doing as much as we can, because we have such a big population of homeless. And I can't lie, we're not doing enough for the homeless population in the streets. And they don't need hand sanitizers. They need a place to go there in the street because of a situation. Some people are homeless because of mental health and addiction, but also because of abuse, leaving an abusive environment, especially like the homeless teens. So we are not doing enough for them. I want to be able to help create legislation that's going to make situations where homeless can have a place to go, where they can. We used to have that in New York, actually, where they would have like these bus with showers in them, and they would come in and they can shower and get clean clothes and food, and then go back out because they don't want to feel trapped. So we definitely need to do more for the homeless. I am so sorry about us not doing as much as we can, but it is on one of my lists of things to do for the homeless.
So now I want to change topic. Like about George Floyd. When I
Oh,
saw George Floyd video in news, where police was pressing George's neck by his knee, it was really heartbroken video. So, what do you think about George Floyd, this incident?
when the video came out, I had already worked 14 hours that day, so I didn't see it when everybody else saw it. The next night I went to work, and like I said, a coworker, she was just watching it, and she said, "Come see this, come see this," and I'm like, "Oh, because I'm thinking another video about a cop, killing a black man," and I usually don't want to keep watching that, you know what I mean? But I said, well, let me try and see, and oh my gosh, that threw me somewhere different because it was so different. It was so long and it was so harsh.
Mhm.
Immediately, what came to my mind, with people who've taken history classes, and we hear about the public lynching of Black people. And there's towns where you see that, like Massachusetts, where they have the square, and in that square used to be where they sold slaves or where they would have the public lynching. That's the first thing that came to my mind, that this was a public lynching on camera for everyone to watch, because this cop gave no value to his life, to George Floyd's life, to the person whose neck he was snapping. And I don't care what the autopsy says. I've been in healthcare long enough to know that people don't just die of a heart attack. The heart attack is the last thing on the death certificate. You look at the long form of a death certificate, and it's going to say the first two reasons why the person stopped. When you're pressing on someone's neck, you're occluding their carotid artery, you're occluding their airway, the body's not getting air or oxygen. Of course, the heart is going to stop. A healthy person with no heart disease is going to have their heart stop. That is the cause of death. Yeah, the heart stopped because of the pressure on the neck, the fractures to the neck, the occlusion of the artery. That is why the heart stopped. A healthy person, a person with high blood pressure, regardless of what the person had before then, that thing that he did, where he took his knee and pressed it against the back of their neck, is definitely the reason why he died. And we are mad. I'm a politician, but I'm a person first. I'm a Black woman, I'm Haitian American, and I said it before, I have Black people all around me as my family, as a friend, as my sons. And I cried so hard when I saw that, because I felt helpless. I felt helpless, and I wanted every man that I knew that was Black or brown to stay inside and be sheltered, and that's not fair. So I know people wants to say he shouldn't get first degree. You can't prove intent. If somebody's choking somebody for 9 minutes, that is an intent that you want to kill the person. It's an intent. So they say they give him third degree. I want the other 3 officers to get indicted also. The EMT. I've always thought paramedics and EMT were our friends, right? As far as like, you call them, they do life-saving techniques. The EMT took them, put them on a stretcher, and went away. That's not how it goes. EMT, and I've worked very closely with EMTs throughout my whole career, they do life-saving technique immediately. They check for airway, they check for breath sounds, they check for pulse. That did not happen. They didn't check to see if he was still alive, if he needs to be intubated. They didn't put a neck collar on him to protect his neck. It's basically, they did it as if he was already dead. So as far as I'm concerned, the paramedics, the EMTs, the 4 officers, they are all culpable of this man's murder, and it is murder. And the reason why people are protesting and rioting, and I'm going to say this to all the white people here who does not understand.
People are doing protest very aggressively. Do you think this is solution?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. I grew up, I remember Rodney King. We remember throughout history everyone else. I saw in books, in my school books about the 60s. I didn't live then, I saw we learned about that. We saw in person things that went on over the years about the killings of Black men by law enforcement. I think the Black people had we gave enough chances. We did. We made songs, Marvin Gaye, what's going on? We created poetry. We work with organizations for peace throughout my whole life. We did it peacefully for decades and centuries and decades again, and it didn't work. I don't promote violence. My whole thing is about peace and love because that's how I grew. Violence is not in me, but it's a perfect median when you have people that were unemployed, people that are hurting, and then to see that not only don't you care about the 33% of Black people who had died from the coronavirus in March and hospitalized, but now you are choking and killing an active Black man in front of everyone to see, and you're lynching him without any remorse. They created, they as in the people who make these regulations, the people who created this system of injustice and racism, they as in the law enforcement who keeps killing our Black men, they created this perfect environment, boiling point, like a pot. You boil the stew, you put all the ingredients and it's boiling. So this environment of rioting and breaking things and burning did not come right away. Because before then, we had a systematic approach of rallying. You had your Martin Luther Kings. You had people with Rodney King still doing. You had, everyone doing it the right way the first few years. They're done. They're tired. We are tired of law enforcement killing our Black men. We're done. I will still rally with peace. I will still rally with facts. I won't be tossing things. I won't be hitting people, but I don't condemn the ones who were so hurt because no one heard them. No one was listening. I don't condemn them. You don't want them to stop? Arrest all 4 officers and hold the paramedics and EMTs liable. Stay and make a conference and apologize, a real apology, that we're going to create great changes. Instead of building more police precincts, you're going to take our taxpayer dollars and make youth groups and put communities together and allow those officers to get rid of de-weaponize the police officer. They don't need all of these gears, the riot gears, the big weapons. Put them back in the community on bicycles and go into the community. Help them tutor kids. Help them keep these Black kids under their arms and show them the way. Make the police officers a human and get rid of the racist, white supremacy officers that are in your forces. Somebody wrote, you may have 10 bad officers and 1,000 good. But if those are 1,000 good do not get rid of the 10, then you have 1,010 bad law enforcement. And I saw that post and I agree with it. They want them to stop rioting, then in order for that to happen, public apology, arrest all 4, hold them accountable, indict them, hold really good fair trials where at least for the first time in history that you will have a police officer for them go to jail for murdering and lynching a Black man. And it's not going to stop until then. I can tell people, please, go safe rallies. Let's do safe rallies. But at the end of the day, they are hurting. They're done. They're tired. And guess what? And to end, these are not our grandmother's generations. They're not.
So whatever incident happened with George, it will happen over and over. So do you think is this incident happen due to racism?
Yes, America, as much as I love it and I went to the military for America, that means I have a right to talk about it. People can call me unpatriotic if you want, but I've served and I volunteer. I have a right to talk about my country if it's doing something wrong. America got everything from the beginning through riots, through looting, through stealing, okay? We ask the Native Americans right now, where are they? I've worked in Mississippi with a Native American crew. We put them in little areas, right? We took, not we, because I was in Africa, my generations were in Africa. I have nothing to do with that. But the Americans that came in and took over land that was not yours, right? You took your flag, boom, this is my country. And what happened to the people that lived there? So those lands were taken through force because the people, the Native Americans that lived there died. They died because America came and took the land by force. They didn't die of old age. They didn't die of like, okay, we retired. They were murdered. So a land that was taken through murder. And then you end up having the southern part of America, which belonged to Napoleon, which was also taken through murder because Napoleon was a big conqueror, right? He conquered land and killed people. Haiti being one of them, he tried. So Louisiana and all of that became part of America after Napoleon gave it up. So that's stolen land. New York, who's like the epicenter for America, where our finances, if New York falls, America falls, right? That was purchased from the Native American through manipulation, right? Fur and food. They gave them New York as a state, as a country, by manipulating the Native Americans into getting warm clothes and food, okay? So every land that is conquered, even Texas that belonged to Mexico people, my military training was in Texas. Texas belonged to Mexico. The Alamo is in Texas, which was Mexico, okay? So that part was taken through force and murder too. The upper part of America, the northwestern states, were taken through Native Americans that they killed. California. So every state in America was taken by force and murder. And what ended up happening is when you start like that and not feel sorry for the people that you killed to get their land, but instead have the audacity to say, we are Americans, learn to speak English when those people were there before, and then to create a white supremacist, racist system to keep them down through education, by not educating them, by putting them in a little area, by putting laws that will create them to not be able to live free through Jim Crow laws of not being able to have a good credit score, to have a house, laws where a white area get their loans are less and the property value is more, and then you redline and you rezone and you redistrict every couple of years these areas, and you reline it so that if there's an area that's full of Black working class people, you rezone it to divide it. When you learn, you as in the population of white supremacy in America, when they learn to do this all throughout the years, guess what? We were watching. Black America was watching, Native Americans were watching, the Latino was watching, the Asian community, we're watching you. Throughout your life, throughout our lives, we're watching you. Violence beget violence. And what they saw is you gained this country through violence, you kept it through violence, you kept it through free labor. So guess what? When you create that environment and now people are fed up, what you created is coming around to attack you. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, it is just the truth. And then you put someone in power in Washington that hates people like me, brown people, women, LGBTQ people. In 3 years, the man that they put, I would never call him president because I didn't vote for him and he didn't win the popular vote. The person that they put in power, 45, he has managed to destroy the little bit that America had left, the little fiber America had left, he destroyed it. So when I say that maybe he wants a civil war, he doesn't even know what he wants. At first I thought it was a joke, but he does not like America. He is as un-American as can be. When you want to see who's un-American, look at him. Destroying labor, destroying women's rights, destroying Black and white and brown communities, destroying our country, making sure that the few KKK, white supremacist people are in power. And those are the same people that cannot finance America, right? Because we all know California and New York are the powerhouse for America. So these are the places that are multicultural. New York and California are multicultural with lots of people from different countries, your doctors, your lawyers, your teachers, your bus drivers. This is a multicultural that they made rights for people. New York made rights for everyone to live in. California does the same thing. The people that live there are the people that Trump supporters hate. So if these two states got out of America, there would be no America. So it's time that we let those white supremacists, law enforcement know that we're awake. We're not stupid. We read your books, we watch what you were doing, and we're smart. We understand it. So now if they want peace, they need to enact laws and vote for people who are going to make change and make that change. It will not rest until they do that. First, make a promise to herself. It could be a dad too, I'm sorry, mother or dad that has a baby, needs to make a promise to themselves that that child that they're raising, that white boy or white girl, they're going to do their best to raise them as a non-racist. That starts first, because as of today, if every parent that raises a white child says that, and they're going to call it out, that's a first step for the next 2 generations down the line. So as you're making that promise to yourself, then your legislators, I'm not going to even talk about DC because that man is lost. The legislators in the states that are burning down right now, in your Pennsylvania, Florida, Kentucky, all those states, the legislators need to actually come back in session and defund. I'm not saying leave them with no money, but the excess, my tax dollars, your tax dollars, how they put all that money into the police department instead of the education system is a shame. So they need to go and come back in session, defund the police department to the point where they're giving them more money than schools, more money than public hospitals. We have these public hospitals like in Jacksonville that are there to help the homeless who don't have insurance. Though they're taking away Medicaid funds. So the first thing is to reallocate the funds away from law enforcement, put it into the community for the education, for the hospitals, for setting up programs. So take a part of that money, and in every area there's a police station, a department, create something like a Boys and Girls Club there, a free Boys and Girls Club, where you can have a place that if a child don't have a mom when they come home, they don't have a dad when they come home or family, that they can go there and get help with their homework. State laws to improve these areas and hold the police officers accountable. Allow a cop to go to jail. What have you done wrong? Let's see how you can fix it. Police officers, sheriffs, they don't have that big umbrella of someone watching them. They don't have Big Brother watching them. So the first thing is to create these organizations, or one that will regulate these incidents, because those incidents are regulated by IA. The IA is part of the police department. The IA, you can have somebody working IA and their brother's a cop in the street. So the blue wall of silence is the first thing they need to cut down. They need to break that blue wall. So they should not be people who, like police officers who wants to report bad things. They shouldn't have they should be protected. So we should increase the whistleblowing act, which we have. Make sure that the police officers who are reporting bad things that the other people are doing are protected in their life and in their job. So that's the first thing. Strengthen the whistleblower act to include law enforcement. The second thing is create an outside organization, not only the IA, not only the one that's inside the police department, someone who is not a police officer, someone who's not related. And that should be one of the regulations, that if you're related to a cop, you can't go into this. You can't be a part of that body. We should create a body where they regulate what the police officers are doing. And I'll tell you why. Because this guy had 17 citations. But guess what? Even the DA, the district attorney, that even shouldn't be their regulation, right? Because sometimes they're friends. The district attorney and the police officers work tight. together because they work to solve a crime. So this organization needs to be totally elected by other people outside the environment and have a heavy regulatory responsibility for each. And it should be per county, but by state. The state should regulate it, but because there's a lot of police departments, each county should be like an umbrella to it, and none of the people working there should be related to a police officer, should have any good, like just like when you do jury duty, right? If you're I've done jury duty, and if I had a case similar to that, I'm disqualified. It's the same concept. A person should be disqualified from this body if they have any biasness or ties to law enforcement. That body is supposed to be the one to regulate every police shooting, justified and unjustifiable. They need to be the one to regulate every and any police killing, especially killing in your home, especially killing when you go get a warrant. When a police officer gets a warrant and goes to the wrong house and kills the other person, that's a crime. That's a crime. You have a warrant, but for another house. I'll give you, if a regular person does something to a wrong store or something, we go into a store and do something wrong, it's a crime for us, right? So they need to regulate these, how they get the warrants, and if they go to a wrong house and causes that other person to die. So this body needs to have a chair, they need to have different, like a finger, and they're regulating the police department. The police department needs high regulation that is not biased, that is nowhere near related or relatable to that police station, and have that person be accountable to us through a voting system. They should be there every 4 years, so no one gets too stagnant, no one gets too comfortable with their job, no one makes friends with the police commissioner. The police commissioner should not be on the board. The mayor should not be on the board. This should be a totally different section that is state and county regulated.
Do you want to tell anything about your political campaign? So we are almost.
Well, I'm going to start with tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not even going to start. So tomorrow, I will be at a rally on Orange Avenue. I'm going to say that I'm going there as a peaceful person. I'm not going there as a politician. I'm going there as a Black woman who have Black members of my family and friends who also want to represent the Black community. I'm going there because I'm tired of the injustice that we go through. And then eventually we will tackle the community too, the Latino, the Asian community, the Native American community. But right now, we are going there in solidarity for Black Lives Matter. I will go there. I will say what I have to say, and I want it to be a peaceful protest. I'm speaking for myself and the people that are going there, and I want people to know, if you're angry or mad or sad and you want someone to speak with, find me and we will work something out. I'm not going to pacify your anger. I don't want to tell them that their anger is not real. They're upset. I'm upset. The way I get upset and the way somebody else gets upset is different, but I had a big, loving family. I knew growing up, my family taught me how to handle my anger. They taught me right and wrong. I know about my Black culture. I know about my Haitian culture. That doesn't apply to everyone. And because of that, if no one taught them that, and they don't have really a good way to put this anger outward, they're going to riot and they're going to burn and they're going to break. But I would like for people to come tomorrow. I would like us to do really good rallying because we want to talk about the facts. We want to talk about changes. We want to talk about moving forward. We want respect for the Black community. We want the Black community to be able to have jobs, to go to school. Free college could be one of them. Develop a scholarship that if you're Black, you can go to community college. If you're Black and brown, go to community college. But definitely if you're Black and the situation, do a scholarship for that, for all the Black men that they've been killing. So my campaign will start campaigning again, but tomorrow I'm not campaigning. Tomorrow I am with my people, and I welcome white people, because guess what? I have a lot of white friends and a lot of white movement people that are a part of this. I'm not putting you down. A lot of you are hurt. I hear it. They're crying, they're hurting too. And they want to do something too. And what I say to white people, call out your people. Call them out. When they say something, when they say, look at this, look at this end. You say, what? If you keep speaking like that, you're going to lose me as a friend. Educate them. When they sit there and make fun of other nationalities, educate them, call them out. You're a movement person. You're my movement sisters, my movement brothers. We're white, black, we're one country. Like Bob Marley said, one love. This is one world, one country. We need to be united against the evil and be together as one. We love our country. We love our world. And that's how I'm going to end it.
Thank you very much, being us. It was really wonderful conversation. And best of luck for your political career. Thank you very much for watching the Mahalaxmi Show. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, try to do best and try to be safe. Stay healthy and happy.
Namaskar. Much blessings to you.
Yeah.